today by Kody Merrit, going to be competing on the upcoming Global Elite Arm Wrestling 1 event, streaming on Millions in September. Man, time's moving quickly. We're actually not too far from the event. But Kody, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Where are you joining us from today?
From Utah, northern Utah, a little town called Mendon. It's just a little oasis in the middle of nowhere, I guess you could say.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love starting off these conversations by asking you if you had a defining moment when you realized, like, man, arm wrestling is something I'm really good at, and this is something I'm going to work to compete, at the highest level possible for as long as possible. What was that moment for you?
Wow. I probably had like a bunch of those type of moments. The first time I remember thinking I'm pretty good at arm wrestling was in middle school. We had like a little competition. Funny enough, my math teacher in middle school was a competitive arm wrestler. I did not know this at the time, but he would set up a arm wrestling tournament every year. It was a sit down tournament, like at a desk, and we'd have one people on either side of the desk, and he used those big soft chalkboard erasers for our pin pads. But he would set this tournament up every year for each age group in school. And I'm a right-handed person, but for some reason I always chose to do left hand. I don't know why, but it has turned out to be my better arm in the long run. But I did that, and I didn't lose any of the years that I was there. And that was kind of the first ever. I think I could be a good arm wrestler, but at that time I didn't realize there was even arm wrestling tournaments, like competitive arm wrestling. I just thought it was stuff you did with your, brothers or friends or whatever. So that's when I first had it. Later on in life, after when I started dating my first wife, her cousin was married to an arm wrestler. Robert Baxter is his name. And he kind of got me into it. And I started training a little bit with them and did pretty well right off the bat. And that was another opportunity that told me I might be okay at this sport.
Awesome. Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Like, from a pretty young age, you were like, wow, yep, this is something that I'm clearly good at. But it's also so interesting to realize, looking back on it, that your middle school teacher was actually an arm wrestler as well. Like, crazy how things work out.
Yeah, Mr. Lee, Dale Lee was his name. And I mean, he's still around. I talk to him on occasion now. Thank him all the time for being an inspiration for my arm wrestling.
Super cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've got a ton of these moments as well, but I've got to ask, um, if you could give us like one or two of the most memorable or impactful moments in your arm wrestling career so far, what would they be?
Oh, goodness gracious. My first left-handed win over John Brezink, that would be a pretty big one for me. Um, Winning the world championships in 2019 in Romania. That was, I won the Masters, and then 2 days later won the Open, won 2 world championships in the same year. I think I'm one of 4 people to have ever done that, win the Masters and the Open in the same year. Ingen's one of those people as well. He's done it as well. I don't know. I've had a few, but that's the Worlds was probably the number one biggest event for me. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's that's a massive accomplishment. To be winning 2 world championships in 1 year is insane. If you could describe in words what it was like when you realized, I'm curious to know what it was like when you realized the first one, but when you got the second one done, what was that like for you?
So it was a very emotional week for me, like full on emotional. When I won the first one, the Masters, I sat there in the audience with my wife, and I just cried. It was huge to me. And then when it happened a couple of days later for the Open, which is the one that's the seniors world championships, the one that everybody kind of counts, that one I was emotional, but not as much because I'd already kind of gone through it. but it was like a whole, I don't even know how to say, like this relief knowing that I had done it, like I had finally did what I had dreamed of doing for so many years. It was a really cool experience, like something that like nobody can take it away from you. So it was awesome. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. That is extremely special, my man. Well,
Yeah.
hard to top that, right? When you win two world championships back to back, that's special.
It was
Um,
fun. It was fun.
I can imagine. I'm curious to know if you've got like a dream brand partnership. Like, is there a brand out there in the arm wrestling world, or maybe it's in the clothing world, or maybe it's in the food world, whatever kind of brand it is that you're like, man, it'd be great to partner with these guys.
I've never thought about anything like that. Oh goodness, I really really enjoy shooting, especially like long range shooting. So if a brand that had something to do with that wanted to partner with me, and I don't know, I think that'd be super cool. My At our local park, we have softball games every night during the week, and they have a little icy, like a snow cone shack there. They named one of their drinks after me, so I guess I got a little bit of a brand going on. I always ordered the same drink. It's my own flavor, and I actually asked them to order the certain flavors for it. And I tried for years to tell these people to try it, but nobody'd ever try it. And finally, the girl that owns the place tried it. She's like, "We're going to make this a signature flavor." I'm like, "Well, that's cool." And they're like, "We're going to call it the Red Hot Fireman." And I'm like, "I'm not even a fireman. That's a crock of crap. Don't call it that. That's ridiculous." But they ended up calling it the Red Hot Champ, which I still think is kind of lame, but it's my drink. So it's kind
What
of
a
fun.
Yeah, no, that is hilarious. The fireman, it cracks me up as well, but, that is so cool. It's like no one would try it, they finally tried it, and then it just becomes a staple.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So yeah.
Very cool, very cool. I gotta make my way down to Utah and get one of those, man, for sure.
Well, you're welcome to come anytime. It has to be during the summer, obviously, but you're welcome to come.
I appreciate it. Um, wow, okay, tell me about maybe an unpopular opinion about arm wrestling or arm wrestlers. Like, is there something that you know about the sport or you know about athletes in your sport that maybe the rest of the world doesn't know and probably should know?
Well, I don't think that a lot of the world thinks it's a thing, like that it's a real sport. In Europe, it's obviously way more popular than it is here. But I don't think that they understand that it is an actual sport, and that we really really put a lot of our life towards it, and train super hard to make it happen. um, and I think they just feel like it's whoever the strongest person is going to win, and that's not the case. I think that if people really got to understand the the ins and outs of arm wrestling, it would be a lot more popular to the world. I think because they would understand that it's not just some, you know, big dumb strong dudes holding hands with each other. So
Valid, valid. No, for sure, for sure. It's definitely undercovered, it's underrated, and it's a sport that takes a ton of, like, tactics. Like, it's definitely not just biggest, strongest dude wins. Like, no, you
yeah,
gotta be playing with strategy. You gotta have all these different angles to make sure you're coming out on top. So,
being strong is important. That, don't get me wrong, but it's I would say it's less important than being a tactician for sure.
yeah, yeah, very cool. If you could give me maybe top 3, top 4 of your favorite arm wrestlers of all time, who would they be?
John Brzenk, I really like that guy. Matter of fact, I trained with him the first 7 or 8 years of my career. Like, we either at his brother's house, Bill's house, or his house, or my house. Bob Brown is in there as well. He's my coach. He's one of my favorite arm wrestlers. Um, oh, I really, really like Alajon, the guy that kicked my butt in East versus West the last time. I think he's a good kid, and he's freakishly strong. And I like Artem Morozov as well. I think those guys are the future for sure. I mean, they're in the present right now, but they're so young and they have so much potential. I think that those two are uh, really got a bright future in this sport. And I think maybe one of the best arm wrestlers, like full on arm wrestlers, is Kitagali Ongrabayev. That guy's amazing. Like what he can do with his frame that isn't very big and produce so much strength and power from it. It's amazing to me. And then you got to love Ingen too. That guy's a beast. So there's a few.
There's a few. That's a powerful group to say the least. Cool, man. Cool, cool, cool. Obviously, you will be competing on Global Elite 1, which is super exciting. First event for this organization. Obviously, you are looking to get the win as always. Is there anything outside of the win that you are looking to accomplish?
Um, well, I hate to lose, so I'm looking to accomplish not losing. I think losing is not losing is more important than winning, if that makes sense. To me, it is anyway. I spent 2 years of my life in Toronto. Um, I went there on a mission for the church that I'm a member of, and I have a love for Toronto, but I haven't been there since I was 21 years old. So it's been 30 years almost since I was in Toronto, and I'm super excited to go back. So that's take my wife and kind of show her around. Maybe if I can afford it, take her to dinner at the CN Tower, some stuff like that. Just I'm excited about that side of it for sure.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, Toronto's a special place for sure. A lot of our team here at Millions is from Toronto, so we're excited to have you in town, and excited to watch you compete. Um, for those who can't attend in person, obviously people can buy tickets, show up to Global Elite Arm Wrestling 1. But for those who can't attend in person, they'll be able to watch you live on pay-per-view. It'll be streaming on millions.co. Before I let you go, do you mind letting the world know that, like, they can't attend in person, it'll be streaming live on Millions?
Hey guys, we would really love to see you in person at the event. It'll be awesome for I don't know, maybe the 3 fans that I have in the world to show up and support me. But if you can't, just let's make this sport great and let's support it in any way we can by buying these pay-per-views and making it possible for athletes and promoters to be successful in this sport. It's come a long, long way in the last few years, and there's no reason we need to stop. Let's just keep going with it and get out and support your sport.
Get out and support. Love to see it. I'm so excited to watch this go down. Kody, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It's been a pleasure to chat with you. Take care. Best of luck the rest of the way, and hope to speak with you again soon.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you again. Take care.